was walking down the street in Toronto. It was a beautiful day. And in my favorite black silk suit, no briefcase, I had just come out of an executive meeting with a company that the relationship was less than positive. But that particular day, the meeting went really well. So I was happy, dressed well, walking down the street. In Toronto, the bustle, the smells of falafels, and just people walking by you. Wow. I'm thinking, this is going to be a great day. So what happened next was a little bit of an odd situation. So I'm walking by this young man. He's pretty big. Well, I'm 5'1" without heels. And I kind of see him, but I don't really see him. But I hear a bit of mumbling as I'm about to pass him. And then I hear, boom. I've been punched out, and now I'm laying on my back, looking up at the sky. And I'm thinking, oh, how'd I get here? Apparently I'd been knocked out and had popped back up. So as I'm opening my eyes, there's this beautiful young man. He's got these gorgeous pool blue eyes. And he says to me, everything is going to be okay. And I want to tell you, those words ring through, and still ring through 9 to 10 years later, after I started to make some changes in my life. Laying on my back, the first person I wanted to speak to was my son. So I said to the young man, can I use your phone? Because I need to call someone just to let him know that Mommy's been struck by a complete stranger. She kind of looks like Angelina Jolie had she had some extra lips, jokingly, and then he let me use his phone. I was more interested in what he was thinking about what I would look like. But laying there on my back, I thought, enough about the pretty, shiny exterior. Time to have the inside fit the outside. And that's where I started to make changes. My symptoms were pretty rough. I had to have my teeth realigned. I had massive headaches. I could see maybe one client, maybe two if I was lucky. And what happened was, my secret was that my life looked perfect on the outside. Perfect little cul-de-sac, beautiful son, amazing husband, by the looks of it, amongst other things. What I realized was, as I started to heal, and I was being put into a CAT scan after yet another argument with my perfect husband, a tear was rolling down my eye. And a voice deep inside me said, you're already alone. Why don't you make it real? And that's when I started to take the steps. As my jaw healed and I stopped getting those massive headaches and I could actually see 3 to 4 clients a day again, I slowly started to rebuild. How did I do it? Well, pain is a hell of a thing. I had been through emotional pain for years, I would say. Maybe not the first 15 years of my marriage, but the latter 10 were pretty brutal. But in my recovery from my physical, it slowed me down to the point where I said, no more ignoring the signs. What I did next was I ended my marriage, and soon after that, I got a severance package from my corporate job, which I'd done for 10 years, and then I started to slow down. So what I did was something very simple, and it's simple, but at times not easy, because I'd done this really well as a bit of an imposter. And this is what I did. And this is what I do with people, whether I'm consulting or coaching or training. It's called SLOW. It's really basic. You probably do some of it already. So stop. How often do we stop and think about what things don't fit in our life? Unless it's critical, which in my case, I suggest none of you get to the point where it has to be that critical. I stopped and I really started to listen to what was going on around me. That's not easy sometimes. So things that I did is I journaled, I went for walks, I talked to girlfriends, I spent time with my friends having wine and really good chocolate, not remembering what I was talking about. I listened to people that loved me, and I really listened. How did I listen? We talk, but do we really listen? And I have a friend in the room today, and she said to me one sentence that I'll never forget. And she said, "Is the way you're being treated now the way you want to be treated for the rest of your life?" A very, very telling statement. So listen, observe your thoughts. How many people think about how they think? We have 60,000 thoughts. Stop. Write it down. Think about it. Is this rational? Does this make sense? Is this in my best interest, and is this within my value? Or am I out of alignment? And the very last thing that I think is a gift is our senses. So we have sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. Use them on an ongoing basis. When you go for a walk, look around. Look around and see what you see. Listen to the birds. Have anybody looking at all the beautiful birds that are coming out? Really stop and reflect at what they're giving you. Listen to the sounds of nature. Because I often think that sometimes, and this sounds kind of airy-fairy, but it speaks to you. It rejuvenates you in a way that's unspeakable. And when we don't stop and take things from the environment, we're actually losing out on something pretty profound. So, texture. When's the last time you took that favorite blanket out and you're really kind of, draped it over you and you felt it on your lap and you really thought, wow, that feels awesome. Or your favorite cup of tea or wine or anything that you enjoy. So, the answers for us are right around us. So I'm going to say to you, for all of you, and I'm going to challenge you to think, how many senses am I using on an ongoing basis? How did I stop today? I don't know if any of you did today, but how did you stop today to reflect? And sometimes we all have crazy thoughts. Who do you rely on to keep you on check? And if you don't have people in your life, I have funny people. I have people that tell me exactly what to do. I have people that will tell me how not to do it. And I'll have people will send me where to get the descriptions. Make sure that your support in your life meets all those needs. So my challenge to you is, are you living that kind of life? And if you're not, think of my situation, being knocked out. I hope none of you goes through that. I can fairly say now I've gotten into a fight, but I didn't throw a punch. To really think, if I'm not getting what I want in my life, why aren't I? And what have you tried? And if you tried and it's not working, whose responsibility is it to make the change? Thanks for your time.